Where there's no peace, there's often no food. And throughout history, the link between conflict and hunger has been deadly. Now the United Nations is sounding the alarm that the growing number of conflicts in the world is creating huge levels of hunger. Violence against humanitarian workers is forcing organizations to suspend operations and deprive populations of humanitarian aid. Around 56 million people are in need of urgent food and assistance across conflict zones, including Central African Republic, South Sudan, Yemen, and Venezuela. And last year, aid workers and facilities were attacked in all these countries. The UN Security Council has urged all parties involved in armed conflicts to minimize the impact of military actions on civilians, condemning starvation as a tool of war. Joining me now in Washington, D.C. is Davit Kirvalidze, who's a candidate for head of the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization. He's also the former Agriculture Minister of Georgia. Good to have you on the program, David. What's the biggest challenge in the world right now when it comes to food insecurity?
The biggest challenge that comes to the food security is that this huge number of more than 800 million people, they face the hunger. And to finish with that and to finish with the poverty, so we need to make a really quick decisions down, to make FAO as an opportunity organization that gives a chance to everyone to produce more and better, because food security is about two things: to produce more and better and to have access to produce. That should be done through free and fair trade, because we all witnessed during recent decades about failures in free trade. I think free trade is not only enough definitions. We should say free and fair trade, to make sure that farmers worldwide, especially small ones, are producing enough and they're having access to the market just to be rewarded on their production.
Right. So all things being equal, that's possible in peaceful societies, right? What happens when you come to a country like Yemen, where, yes, starvation and famine is used as a weapon of war? You can only do so much. Any department in the UN or elsewhere can only do so much to help feed starving people. At the end of the day, you are at the mercy of those who are making political decisions. So is there always going to be a limit as to how much you can do? Because war means death and hunger and terrible things.
I could not agree with you more. So it's a really bad situation, and I'm really sorry to hear that. I can tell you that I've been through the same situation by the time that my country, faced the war, faced the blockade and starvation and hungers. And during the conflict time, there is not really much that FAO can do. Even WFP is very limited, who is providing immediate food assistance to the people. So here we need a complex approach when all UN agencies, especially those responsible to making peace for the sake of those people who are absolutely innocent, who suffer to the ambitions of different political groups, and allow those two sister organizations, they are based in Rome, both, to get to the ground. WFP starts immediately with food assistance for the people in the need, but FAO has a just more comprehensive role just to help them to restore their livelihoods. And FAO itself should be always ready to deploy its team down there with all possible donors as soon as there is at least very minimum security level for the experts who go down and work to help the people to get back to the life and to restore their livelihoods.
Right. Now, I don't want this to sound like it's a job interview. I can't give you the job, but you are running for a 4-year term of office if you get the job. So that election will be in June for the FAO Director General. There are other candidates from Cameroon, from China, from France, and from India. What can you bring to the job that they cannot?
I can tell you once that Cameroon is not anymore in the race. There are just 4 candidates left. And what I'm bringing, so I've seen agriculture from all possible angles, starting from being a scholar, being a farmer. I mean, potato farmers actually that hunger and poverty draw me to farm from university where I was a PhD and teaching students. And being a farmer was a really, really important experience in my life, because that taught me a lot of good lessons. So I've been a minister twice for the developing country, and to summarize this, last 13 years I work on the donor side. I've been on the side of the recipient. I've been on the side of many countries in transition. They are looking and asking for assistance. And that's also taught me a good lesson. So I remember everyone. I remember and respect those who've been quick and responsive when we've been asking for assistance. And I also remember those who've been telling that, yes, young man, leave your proposal here. My secretary will call you after a week, or you're going to hear a month later. So that should not never be a case, because when somebody is asking, so they need to be responded quickly, and especially in agriculture, because we are dealing with seasonal activities. And if we are late for 1 month, I can tell you that we are earlier than for 11 months for the next season, but we are missing the current one. So quick response is a very important one that donors should do. We need to engage private sector, public-private partnership. It's something that should be exercised way better by FAO. And this is something that private sector is coming on the table, and without engaging private sector, there is no way we achieve sustainable development goals.
And my final question for you, it's the year 2019. We have technology at our fingertips that allows us to tap into all of human history and all of human knowledge whenever we want to. People are planning manned missions to Mars, yet people are still starving to death. How do you feel about that?
This is about discrepancy between new technologies and transfer of technologies down to the ground. There are countries, they do it quickly and immediately, and they benefit from this. And there are many countries, and here is a few steps to be undertaken very quickly. One is that transferring new technology is not only desire to transfer. We need the people educated on the ground to absorb this capacity. For this, we propose in FAO to put there the special fellowship program for the young leaders from developing countries to get access to the leading Western universities worldwide. First, to get education, to get training, and also we're talking to the large businesses to allow those young leaders from developing countries to get a chance to go through internships there to see how it's working. Because as soon as new technology is going to the ground, that should be a capacity to translate in the language of the farmers and use it quickly. And in this case, we're going to move quicker and faster to reach our targets.
Okay, Davit Kirvalidze, I thank you very much for joining us on the Newsmakers.